Hello there, it's me, Sari here again. Today I thought I'd talk you through a little bit about my mixed media project here, and I'm just going to show you a little bit what I've made so far. In this one I actually used a stamp, which is a rocking chair, and there's a saying about worrying. Worrying is as effective as sitting in a rocking chair really, because it gives you something to do but you don't really get anywhere. And it's the same thing I made here with a Swedish saying. I've used some sprays, either dilution sprays or perhaps color wash, or even sprays from Tim Holtz that I have mixed with water and sort of have myself another spray there. I've also used some stencils and such here. I think I'll just go in a little bit closer so perhaps you'll see them better. So this is basically it. I also used, I'm going to show you something here. This one here, this orange piece of paper, I had cut out some circles and I just put it there and did some spraying on top of it. With this one I have used a stencil and just some acrylic paint, I think it is. Come to this one, I actually love this combination. I did mix some gesso and water and even some acrylic paint and just blend them together in this water bottle, flower watering bottle, and then I just sort of made a bath with this, and then after that I actually sprayed with some green and blue hues, and I speeded things up with a heat gun. And what it does is that the gesso actually sort of penetrates through the colours and gives this wonderful background feeling, sort of a marbled effect, so if you please. And then I just put a frame here. This is a lovely stamp from Fancy Pants, and then I put a statement here that says, don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to the one you were yesterday. And that is the only way to actually see what kind of progress you're making. And this is actually a book that I'm trying to use both as an art journal and a diary. So I'm writing my anxieties off in this book, and that's why I'm hiding the pieces with some white paper there. Here's another page with a funky old man. This one is a stamp from Whimsy Stamps. I think it's Kenny Kay or perhaps somebody else has drawn it. And this one is called Scrooge. It's that cheap figure from a story. And I have had gesso in the background and done some spraying here and there. Used a brick stencil here, and I think I've had some acrylic paint actually, and then just heat set it with a heat gun just to speed things up a bit. It's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. And here's a sort of colourful, strong layout. I felt like using a little bit stronger colours this time. And I've also used that brick template. It looks something like this. And what I did this time, I actually put some red acrylic paint there, and after it had dried I used a black pencil to just draw along the bricks, so to make them pop out a little bit from the background. And I think, well, I've worked with this page in several layers actually. It is pretty colourful and strong. I've also used a sort of compass stamp here. Live the life you have imagined, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Henry David Thoreau says that. And here is something else. I just did some spraying in the background and also used a couple of stamps from Dilutions there, and also a big grass mask from Crafter's Workshop, and then some stamping from Tim Holtz's different stamps. And what else I did was actually use a clear embossing powder, both here, there and there, just to give it sort of nice texture. After that I actually just drew in something with the distress inks, and then to finish things off I have started using different kinds of crayons and just draw something in the outline there, and then just work it into the paper with my finger. So here's a Reeves pastel crayon, and all I do is this basically. So you can do it in different layers and just work it in. Of course you could use distress inks as well, but I sort of like to get this dirt on my fingers and sort of do handiwork really. Here is something that I haven't finished. It's just a mishmash of things. Just wanted to show you this really resin butterfly there. There you can see the height of it. I have used a 3D stencil. It's pretty thick a stencil. I'm sure that it's supposed to be used on walls and such, but I just wanted to give it a go there. And here's my first attempt on what I think is she art. It's nothing that I'm really proud of. It's just a fun way to try different techniques out and such. And well, I've used a couple of stencils here and there, and well, everywhere. It's sort of a messy looking page. Can't really say that I'm really proud of it, but I'm sort of liking the effect that the burlap gives when I put that on her hair. You know, I'm not a drawer or something, so I can't really say that I can draw anything. I have used different kinds of scratches of pieces of paper here to make a dress and a shirt and her sleeves and everything there. And here's something, just a background really, so all the pages are coming up next are just backgrounds that I have worked with different stencils and leftover pieces from stamps and such. And it's just a fun way to get started so you can get going later on. And here are some colourful things, and on this one actually they made a double-sided layout. I did spray this one heavily with strong colours, and then I just let that one bathe there, lift it up and dried it. So now I can make a double page if I want to. It's a fun way to actually make something. And to finish things off, I mean, if I do feel like something is too dark, I just take this mixture, spray it all over, let it dry so it gives a nice lift off to things. Here's a stronger page. There's a leftover piece from a brick wall there. Just like the way the red colour pops up, and the white as well. Here's something that I have used that brick wood grain template with, and some pastel colours in the bottom. And here are something that I actually finished spraying right now. And what I do is I actually just wipe off the excess paint of the stencils on several pages in this book, and just continue where I feel like it. On this one I have done the same thing, and after that I have used a thin paint of gesso and water just to give it some kind of a protection to the page so it doesn't bleed too much to the other side. And on this one I actually did put some pieces of paper, tissue paper actually here, and then I used a permanent spray to use over a mask, and after that I used a flowery stencil and sprayed over it with some pink color, and then I just squeezed these pages together, and that is why it looks like that on that side. And here are some leftover pieces from that one as well. So I've started decoupaging here a little bit more, just to give the page some structure and definition. Here's a strong page, and here are some leftover pieces which I haven't really made into anything yet, but just I wanted to let you know what it looks like when I'm in the middle of a process of doing something. So this is quite fun. I think this is something I need to do because it gives me some sort of a fun way to actually deal with my anxieties and such. So let's say I could do something with this one just to show you what I do. And also I wanted to show you that I've got a big book here in front of the other one, and that is if there's some sort of splatter from the sprayings, I'll actually have the chance of getting it into this page as well, so I don't need to waste that paint. I might as well just show you what I have made so far with this bigger book break up and let go, it says, and that is what my life is about right now. I have to break up and let go of something. It's a really wild and crazy page. Some people like it, I'm not sure if I do, but it's strong and colourful, I suppose. Here is something that is a little bit lighter. I try to work with the texture theme and the mixed media, so I actually glued down some corrugated paper, cardboard and some net and everything. And after that I just painted all over it with some gesso and then continued spraying with green and orange and even stamping with some blue butterflies there. I actually also glued these buttons down before I painted them with some gesso. Here is something that just tried different things out, a big doily in the background and some sprays and such. I've actually used several doilies here, I can see, and made it go from the smaller to the bigger and so forth. And this is something I had a class on actually. We made a painting sort of similar to this one. And here is something that I've tried out. I can't talk about it right now. And here is something that I have tried out with different kind of pastels, crayons. I'm not ready with it. I'm just playing around, sort of trying to get the feel of it, how it's going to work. And here is a double layout as well. I did the same thing. Sprayed this with really a lot of paints and then just squeezed those pages together. And here is something that I just wiped off the excess of a different page. So this is actually how I work and make this book come to life. So I'm sort of having several projects at the work, in the process at the same time. So let's see if I can make something so you can enjoy this for a second or two. I'm just going to freestyle this. Haven't got any plans. I'm using this wood or forest or the birch tree template there, and I'm thinking, because the birch is, I'm sure I should do this in black really. The drawback, of course, having this small template is that it's not going to cover the whole page, and I'm going to get these sharp edges, but I'm trying to make this work anyway, so let's see what I can make of it. Or, since I am talking about it, perhaps I should protect this a little bit then. See what I can make of it. At least avoid the most sharp edges there. This is something I have actually recently started doing, so I'm not really that familiar with it, but I'm learning as I go along. Just going to put that one there. Perhaps it's even better to actually have them on top of the stencil, so the stencil can lie flat on the surface. Sure, it's nice if the trees are straight. Let's see if we can make something out of this then. I'm not sure if I'm thinking correctly now. I'm sure I'm not. Perhaps I ought to do something with... Perhaps I ought to do a green background first, because I'm thinking that the woods are sort of green, so I'm going to use different greens here, mixing both the dilutions and the whatever I've got now. I think I do have a color wash green as well, just to deepen things a little bit. Well, I'm not sure if I already used it or not. No, I didn't. So I'm just going to heat set this quickly. And you see that I'm using my small embossing heat tool this time. Haha, being ironic there, of course. Let's see if I can make this work then. Let's see. Well, now the trees are going to be green as well, but I'm not going to bother about that, since this isn't going to be the main thing anyway. Let's see if I can put it there and get rid of the excess there. And you see it doesn't come perfect in any way, shape or form. It's not supposed to either. Well, that's a way to do it, and to get your fingers dirty. Well, you see, that's what happens. So I'm just going to dry this. So let's see what I can do next. I'm thinking of actually creating some kind of a border there, and I could do this with a leaf template like that. I'm just trying to try Wild Plum. It's a color that I'm not using that much. Let's see what happens. And this is the drawback, you really get your fingers dirty with this spray thing. Let's just make it work like so. And you see I'm getting those sharp corners there, but I'm not going to be that much bothered about that one either. Let's see what I can do like so. Because this isn't exact science or anything, I'm just having myself some fun really. And I actually like the way the pattern turns out when I do it like this. You see I get a reverse or inverted thing, and I really like that. Oh, look at my hands. I have to give them a rinse later. Man, this is hot. I need to lower it. So what can I do next? I'm looking forward to making, perhaps I should even do it like this then, just to make it lighter. It's sort of spooky looking now, isn't it? Sort of spiderwebby. So if this is going to be something Halloweeny, perhaps I could use some orange now. Hopefully I'll just get it to pop up. I'm wondering... I think I'll just use this one then. Just put it there randomly and give it a spray. And I like to work in threes and sort of make triangular shapes so that the eye can actually wander and sort of find its way on the layout. I have to dry these one. I actually like the way that the orange pops up, goes through that, the green. So what else could I do now? I sort of like the spider web effect there. And I've got myself a chicken wire thing here. I'm hoping I'll be able to get that to work as a spider web. But in order to succeed and not have that thin paint mixture here go all over the place, I just want to make it a little bit flat. No, it doesn't work, you know. It just goes through and starts to spread out too much. Just look at my hands. I'm all googly. Or gooey, I should say. And something that's quite fun to do is actually just spray pretty heavily and let that drip to see what happens. Some people use black paint, but I think that the white one here is what I need. And as you can see, it doesn't stay white for long, so I actually have to repeat it and hope that I can make it a little bit more intense. And I'm in luck since some of the paint actually goes through the same channels or canals. And then of course, if I feel like that it's going to take me too long a time to actually dry this, I'm just going to use a kitchen roll here to wipe off the excess. And continue. I sort of get the feel of a spiderwebby woods and forest, so, yeah, even though you can't really see that it's going to be a forest anymore. But I sort of like the Halloweeny colours here. Something yellow could be fun, but I'm not sure what to do with it. What I could do now, of course, is just bring out some Halloween stamps. And see what I could use. I think that bat is alright. It could fly over there. But I would like to actually use a spider web that I have punched out, but I haven't got it ready now, so I think I'll just put it up here in the corner. And perhaps I'll even die cut a spider or something, and then I could put a couple of these bats up here. I haven't made that many Halloween projects actually lately, so it's time I do something. Take this one away. And now the drawback of working with mixed media and perhaps even having structured things underneath, you really have to think about what you have under this page, because if I have buttons and such underneath and I keep this double folded, it's going to give me a hard time trying to get things right there. So I think I'll go for some jet black, because if I want to spray some more I can actually do it without letting the colour bleed. Look at that bat, just wonderful, isn't he? Just going to zoom it in a little bit more so we can see better. And don't worry, I'm going to take it down in a second or two. So I'm thinking perhaps of having that one on the outside there. Oh, I just love this face. Wonderful. Look at that. What a funny looking bat, isn't it? And since I'm working in threes, I might even put in a third bat. Yeah, why not? Let's put that one there, shall we? Haha. And instead of just wasting this one, I could actually see if I could come to life on another page here. So by no means are these pages ready until I say so. Actually, I think I'll try to put it here, and since this coil is here, it could give me a hard time, so I have to move it to the other side there, and actually I'm going to put in a little bit more color there then. So carpe diem, girly, otherwise the bat's going to take you. So where was I? Here. Haha! Finally something Halloweeny. I really like this project actually. So I could just try to get the excess color off like so. So you see, it also gives interest and depth to the next project. So let's see what I could do next. I was thinking about that spiderwebby thing there, and I thought I'd punch out a spider with this one. Let's see if it goes through this thick paper. It's a big spider, as you can see. Route worked out like a charm. It's a Martha Stewart punch, that one. Just look at that big spider there. Way. So if I could just put a couple of these buggers down here. Oh, it's going to be scary. I wonder if I can even look at this later. And I'm going to put 3 spiders as well. Perhaps 4, depending on how they actually fit. So you know, spiders and creepers. My goodness, I hate spiders. And perhaps one could also glitter these just to give them some pop and definition. And I might even have a smaller spider on that same die from Quick Cuts. I'm going to show you the die, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do the die cutting here. I've actually got another one here. So rest in peace, gravestone, and there's a cat. It's a bigger bat, and there's an even bigger spider actually. And this is the one I'm talking about, the lovely spider. Let's see if I can make it actually. I'm not going to be troublesome. Instead of cleaning that area, I'm just going to bring this one here. Let's be flexible, people. So I finally found these as well, and I have started. You see, this one is gone all wonky. I can't really use it yet more. I have to zoom out so you can see what I'm trying to make this work as. This is sort of wonky now, so I'm just going to flip this one to as the bottom piece, and then I'm going to have the die over there. I'm just going to see if I can make it punch out this one, and then I have to put that one there. And you have to forgive me for giving you a shaky video like this, but as you know me, perhaps I am freestyling a lot. So you see, here comes the spider web, and even the small spider. I'm just going to take these away, just roll them in there and lose them again. I'm sure you have noticed that when you are crafting and using different kinds of elements, I mean, if you are just colouring a stamped motif, of course you can manage on a small... Oh, his legs broke. Suppose I could do it all over again if I wanted to. And what I was saying was that depending on the kind of a crafter you are, you can either manage working on a small space, or perhaps you need a lot of space like I do, because I do want a special place for my die cut machine, and I want a special place for my inking and spraying and such, and even I would love to have a special place when I do my coloring and such. But everybody doesn't have the fortune of having a craft room or something like that, so I actually have to be pretty pleased with what I've got already. You see, this is going to be a wonderful spider web there. That is actually the intention, and I'm not sure what it would be like if I were to put it down here, perhaps. Sort of light it up there. And then there comes the problem of how am I going to fasten this? Well, I suppose I ought to go for some kind of a glue that is easy to work with. And I'm thinking of something that's called glossy accents, but I'm not sure if I can find it now. But with that one I actually got a small tip that I can actually get the glue exactly where I want it. Now the question is, should I die cut another spider web, or should I just be content with this one? And I think that the spiders ought to be black because I want them to pop out. They could be green, of course, or yellow if I wanted to also. Perhaps they are too big for that net, I'm not sure. I sort of like them going there in that direction. And I also like the mayhem they can create by being like so. Well, I'm not going to bother you anymore with this one, but you see the way that my mind is thinking when I'm starting working on things like this. And what I would like to finish this with could be something that's called Boo or something. I mean, it's Halloween after all, so I hope you enjoyed this and get started on your spraying, and don't really mind being that dirty of your hands. I mean, most of the days I can actually get it away with some water and just some washing up liquid or something. Alright, I hope you have a splendid and messy time ahead of you. Bye bye.